Watch 1226 on your side, wherever you go.
Follow News 1226 on Instagram to see what's trending in your area.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, first at 5.
We begin with big sports news today. We are a proud hometown right now. The Cross Creek High School boys and girls basketball teams now both state champions. The boys team able to eke out a win just about an hour ago, 57-49. Take a look at their celebration here. We're going to show you this, what happened after the game. The crowd going wild. You can just imagine all that hard work paying off. And if you can believe it, the girls won too. I mean, when you're good, you're good. Both teams winning the state championships this afternoon. Clearly very excited, and we're gonna have Mike telling us more. He is down in Macon for that win. They got a win over Greater Atlanta Christian. Final score 56-44. Players and coaches say they're all just excited.
God, this is the first one. I don't know. I won't say the only one, but this is just amazing. It's just way to top off a crazy year. It means a lot. To be able to show up for my team and to be able to play my game and help us win the state championship feels great. She's been a great role model. I mean, I wouldn't imagine playing for somebody else, anybody else.
What a pass. They played over the Macon Centerplex, and the girls team now finishes with a 23-2 record this season. The Josie girls won the state championship in their division yesterday, and as we said, sports director Mike Yakachonis is down there. We're going to hear from him and the boys team coming up soon. In Washington, D.C., President Biden is celebrating the passage of his $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. He's just wrapping up his very first ceremony in the Rose Garden as president. And that bill is bringing money directly to millions of Americans, and it could hit your bank account as soon as this weekend. That's just the first wave of checks, though. Those payments will keep coming in over the next several weeks. The $1,400 checks are going to any individuals who make below $75,000 a year, or $2,800 for couples making below $150,000 a year.
Well, that means for a typical family of four, middle-class family, husband and wife working, making $110,000 a year, that means $5,600 check they're going to get.
That's because millions of parents will get up to $3,600 per child. Congress overhauled the child tax credit, which before mostly benefited middle and upper income families because they pay more in those taxes. Now that credit will help more low income households and let you receive the benefit in advance through monthly cash payments. This part of the bill will really impact our community, as you can imagine, with direct payments going to families. And the Boys and Girls Club, sorry, we were waiting to see if we were going to have Celeste Springer tell you about this, but I'm going to tell you about it. The Boys and Girls Club tells her that about 76% of the kids that they see live at or below the poverty line here at home. And yesterday, in the city's homelessness task force meeting, Richmond County School Board member Venus Kane said about 580 kids in Richmond County are homeless or live in a household with multiple families. But she says the number could be even higher. Now, this all comes as need has increased due to the pandemic. We know that. According to the Boys and Girls Club, the poverty rate in Augusta is at 50%, and they say many of the kids they see have only one parent. According to the Tax Policy Center, about 10 million kids were expected to be in poverty in 2021. They say the stimulus bill could cut that number in half and help benefit many kids right here in our own backyard.
The big picture is just that poverty affects kids so deeply, and it's just an issue that needs to be addressed, because if they're not getting their basic needs met, then that's affecting them for a lifetime.
And coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to take a closer look at the bill and how things might be different for your family this tax season, plus what you can expect in your bank account. We're breaking that all down coming up at 6. Along with money for Americans, the relief package focuses on the vaccine rollout as well. Biden says all adults will be eligible to get a vaccine no later than May 1st. And though this announcement doesn't clear the way for large gatherings yet, it does mean we should be able to celebrate Independence Day with some small gatherings, some small celebrations, something Vice President Kamala Harris says couldn't have been possible without the passing of the American Rescue Plan.
When they return to work, when they return to school, when they reopen their businesses, when they hug their grandchildren for the first time in a year, Americans will see what we did here.
Tomorrow, we cover the pandemic's impact in a primetime special, COVID Crisis, the long haul. Millions of people are being vaccinated every day, but others still remain reluctant. Taj Mahal is going to uncover why some communities might be falling behind.
How can you tell the myth from, the speculation?
Find out how health officials are reaching out to communities of color in COVID crisis. That long haul special is on primetime. It airs tomorrow at 8 o'clock. You can catch that on CBS. Outside, a gorgeous way to start our weekend, Riley. This is great weather.
Absolutely. Another mostly sunny day for us, just tracking a few more high-level clouds, which once again should make for a beautiful sunset for us. We are seeing temperatures a little bit warmer this afternoon, actually hitting the low 80s in many spots. We're at 81 at Bushfield, 80 at Bamberg, 80 in Gibson, 80 in Sparta. A lot of people joining the 80-degree club this afternoon. It is feeling fantastic. Now, through this evening, it's going to stay warm. Any plans outside looking good to go? Just a few clouds passing on through, and we should remain in the 70s at least through around 9 o'clock if you do live in Augusta. Now, late tonight into early tomorrow morning, we'll likely see these temperatures drop off into the mid to upper 50s. Not much of a chill out there to wake up to early Saturday, and during the day Saturday, looking fantastic once again. A little bit cooler, though. If you live north of I-20, you're likely to stay in the mid to upper 70s, a little bit warmer the further south you go. We'll have a look at some rain moving in next week in that full forecast.
All right, thanks, Riley. The city of Minneapolis has reached a $27 million settlement with George Floyd's family just weeks before the trial is scheduled to begin. The Minneapolis City Council voted unanimously to approve that settlement. It includes $500,000 from Floyd's family to the community at the intersection of 38th and Chicago Avenue. It's now widely known as George Floyd Square. The trial for the officer accused of killing George Floyd is getting ready to happen. A Georgia sheriff reopening the investigation into the mysterious death of a teenager who died 8 years ago. Kendrick Johnson's body was found inside a rolled-up gym mat at his Valdosta High School. Do you remember this? It was all over the news. Investigators ruled it an accident back then, but his parents have never believed that. They even had a private autopsy done. It ruled the cause of death to be blunt force trauma. Mark Strassman talked to his family about what they're hoping to learn all these years later. We do want to warn you, though, some of the details, some of the images in this are disturbing.
We want to know what happened to Kendrick Johnson, why nothing has been done, and why nobody has been held accountable.
Jacqueline Johnson wants justice for her youngest son. You feel that loss every day?
Every day, every second of the hour.
In January of 2013, surveillance video showed Kendrick Johnson walking the hallways at his high school. Sometime in the next 24 hours, the 17-year-old three-sport athlete died. His body found the next day, rolled up head first in this wrestling mat.
Kendrick was in one of the places that should have been the safest place for him to be at. Kendrick wasn't on no corner. Kendrick was at school trying to get his education.
State investigators ruled the death an accident. They initially said Johnson dove into the mat to retrieve a shoe, got stuck, and died from positional asphyxia. But two other autopsies requested by the family in the following months determined blunt force trauma to the neck caused his death.
I know that my son was beat to death and rolled up in the mat. I'm not going to even say think again. I know my son was beat to death.
No way in your mind it was an accident?
No way.
A federal civil rights investigation followed, but in 2016, the Department of Justice determined it lacked evidence to file hate crime charges, as it would have needed to prove he was killed because of his race. That investigation's results were sealed. But now, for the first time, investigators will have access to that evidence, coupled with the state's original files. Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Pauk was not part of the original investigation, but will lead the new one.
I made them a promise. I made the people of this county a promise. I'm pretty well known for keeping my promises.
Marcus Coleman is the Johnson family spokesman.
Now that this investigation has been reopened in the sheriff's department, we feel like those array of charges that literally fit what happened to Kendrick can now be applied.
And what do you think those charges will be?
Murder. Will be. We're hoping, sir, we're cautiously optimistic that murder will be dealt down here.
Johnson's family says they hope this fresh look into the case will bring them answers. First at 4, this year's plan for Masters traffic is much more scaled back. Of course, this year's Masters has limited patrons, so that's fewer cars in town. They say traffic will likely look like a busy rush hour out there. We'll only get about 25% of the traffic we'd get in a normal year. Unlike normal, though, they're keeping the Washington Road exit open. Berkman's Road, which is normally made a one-way in the afternoon, that will stay 2 ways this year. So you shouldn't see too much of a difference in traffic Masters Week. Riley?
We are expecting a dry weekend, but rain chances will be going up by early next week. We'll see how much rain we're expecting coming up in that full forecast.
Stolen guns turned crime guns. The I-Team uncovers Augusta is a hotspot for recovering illegal weapons.
We have firearms that are trafficked out of the state of Georgia.
And an infamous stretch of roadway isn't helping. Monday on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Hi. Good to go. Waynesboro.com.
A hate crimes bill working its way through the State House no longer has protections for people who identify as gay or transgender. This comes the same week as a bill that would ban anyone younger than 18 from getting any gender reassignment treatment. And a bill banning trans girls from playing on women's sports teams in middle school and high school also passed out of subcommittee just recently. We have State House reporter Adam Minzer. He's been following all of this for us. So Adam, what has been the reaction so far to these bills?
I want to start with the people who support all the legislations you just mentioned. A lot of them telling me that they worry about the idea of people in their teens making decisions about their own gender. Now, opponents of this bill say it's outright dangerous. One mother told me that some of the language that's used around this legislation and all these legislations and some of the rhetoric that's come out in the wake of them is part of what cost her son his life. Grayson Keck died by suicide when he was 15. Even with a supportive home and help and living as a trans man the way he dreamed of being, the world was hard on him as trans youth, and it became too much for him. His mom says she's worried these bills will only push more trans kids deeper into isolation.
It's one thing to have your family support, that's huge, and a lot of these kids don't even have that, but it's not enough. It's not enough. If it were enough, he would still be here. They need, laws behind them.
Supporters of a bill that would ban trans youth from getting any medical procedures related to their gender say this isn't a malicious bill.
A decision like that with lifelong consequences between the ages of, say, 12 and 18 was just something I don't think was prudent. I don't care what adults do.
One pediatrician I spoke to who is vehemently against all of these legislations tells me that the hormone therapies referenced in that bill we were just talking about, well, they're reversible, that the moment that a child stops taking them, then puberty and that whole process will resume. That pediatrician also tells me that she's worried about another part of this bill that would require educators to tell parents if a kid comes up to them with thoughts of being transgender or making that decision. But supporters of this legislation say they're open to making changes to it as time goes on, and that's just part of the legislative process. Other supporters say that the hormone therapy treatments, well, they might have long-term impacts. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Adam Minzer, on your side.
Important legislation going through. Thanks for breaking down all the sides of that for us, Adam. And if you are struggling, there is 24/7 free help available. You can call the number on your screen, or you can text HOME to 741-741. Two newlyweds in the Low Country got the surprise of a lifetime when they won a free wedding. Can you imagine in a year like this getting a surprise like that? What's more, they are both frontline healthcare workers. Abby O'Brien tells us it all started when Kelsey and Zachary Lucas heard about a contest on the radio.
It's fair to say Kelsey and Zachary Lucas have been impacted in many ways by COVID-19. She is a labor and delivery nurse. He is a paramedic.
During the start, when we really didn't know a lot about the virus, when it first came to Charleston, kind of really stressful to be around something we just didn't know and understand.
It's just really had a huge impact on not only me, but the people I take care of.
Outside of work, they were hoping to plan a wedding in 2020, but their priorities had to stay with their patients during a confusing and scary time. But they had no idea Chelsea Harp, the owner of Intrigue Design and Events, was working on something special.
We love what we do, and we want to get people married and have their special day, and when that completely gets dragged out from under you because the pandemic hits, a lot of emotions arise.
She wanted to give back to the Charleston community and especially frontline workers.
So I was like, what if we could give away a wedding?
After a video submission and votes from the community, Kelsey and Zach were the winners.
This is like my wildest dream come true.
Harp gathered vendors from all over the Low Country to put on an intimate and safe celebration.
The day of was really nice and just very easygoing, and I think a big part of that was just because of who they are and their personalities, and the overall reason of why we were there to begin with was really just because they wanted to get married, and it was all about the love.
Love, we just want more of that, but congratulations to that happy couple. Connect Augusta, here's some news you can really use, is offering a similar opportunity to a couple right here at home. So if you or your partner or an essential worker, you can apply for a free wedding valued at more than $20,000. The deadline to apply is coming up this Sunday, so if you're interested, go ahead, check out our website for details on how to apply so you don't miss that deadline. Gorgeous day if you were having our wedding outside today, Riley. It's pretty great out there.
Absolutely. A perfect day for a wedding, and this weekend looking good as well. Not expecting much in our rain department through Sunday. As we roll into next week, that's where we're definitely going to notice some changes. Throughout the day Monday, rain chances looking fairly low outside of a few just isolated sprinkles. The heavier rain threat appears to be Monday night through Thursday for us. It's going to be a couple of systems moving through. So this backdoor cold front, this is what's going to head our way this weekend. Not anticipating to bring us rain, but it will bring us a few more clouds than the sunshine we've been enjoying the past several days. Temperatures also will cool off a little bit with that backdoor cold front, especially if you live north of Augusta. Your high temperatures will likely stay mid to low 70s tomorrow afternoon. So I'd say we'll cool off a little bit, but not by much. Still expecting near to above average high temperatures heading into Saturday. On Sunday, we're expecting once again more clouds and sun throughout the day, and then we're expecting those temperatures to be right back close to 80 by Sunday afternoon. Heading into Monday, this is going to be our setup. This is going to be our first cold front that is going to be heading our way. Now, we're going to still see that well off towards our west by Monday during the day, so outside of a few stray, just kind of warm advection showers, not really much anticipated. But Monday night into Tuesday, that's when that opportunity starts to increase for us. Definitely better coverage of rain throughout the day on Tuesday, and that sticks around into Wednesday, just kind of multiple rounds of downpours moving on through. And then we're going to see a second system by Thursday. This is the one that's going to be heading our way into Thursday, and that's the one we've been talking about the past few days that potentially could bring us a few thunderstorms. We've been talking about the eventual timing and how that will influence the forecast. Latest update today is that this is actually timed out to be potentially into Thursday afternoon, which means a little bit more energy in our atmosphere and a little bit greater risk to see some stronger thunderstorms. So with this output, this potentially could bring us a few strikes of lightning, some gusty winds, and definitely some heavy rain. Now that is expected to clear out by Friday of next week, and then next weekend not looking too bad for us. But until then, enjoy the beautiful weather this weekend. We're expecting to stay dry. Remember, we do spring forward on Sunday, so we'll lose an hour of sleep, but finally those sunsets will be after 7:30.
Still to come, vaccine scammers taking to social media to try and trick you out of money or maybe your personal information. We'll tell you how to protect yourself when we get back.
I'm Mike Costello of the
Floyd and Associates.
Injury cases like yours are all we handle. My experience pays, and so will your insurance company.
You may be anxiously waiting to get your COVID vaccine. Maybe you've already gotten yours. Well, now scammers are taking advantage of people using websites and social media to try and get their shot. Jamie Tucker shows us what these scams look like and how to protect your family members.
This website looks legit. A pharmaceutical company advertising a COVID-19 vaccine you can buy to skip long lines and waiting lists. In the past 2 months, thousands of similar websites have been registered with the word vaccine in the name. Don't be fooled.
And they're just trying to exploit the vulnerability of people by wanting to be the first in line in buying a vaccine.
Yoav Karen, CEO of Brand Shield, which hunts down fake websites, tells me since the vaccines were released, scams like these are popping up everywhere.
And basically are trying to fish or confuse people by buying fake vaccines online.
In a quick search of Twitter, I found this tweet claiming their sister's dealer is selling Moderna vaccines on Snapchat. The tweet has nearly 82,000 likes and 14,000 retweets.
You need to be clear that no one will sell a vaccine, no company sells a vaccine through Twitter or Facebook. This is just fake. Do not buy.
A warning from the FTC states do not pay to sign up for vaccines, ignore sales ads, watch out for unusual text messages, don't open emails, attachments, or links, and never share your personal, financial, or health information. Bottom line, you can't pay to skip to the front of the line or reserve a spot in line, and you certainly can't buy the vaccine yourself. Tell your family members, even if it looks legit, it's a scam and they should ignore it. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
And remember, if something looks funny, you can always contact Georgia DPH or South Carolina DHEC. They also have accurate information about how to get vaccinated. You can also check out our website, wrdw.com, for opportunities for local clinics. Riley?
Well, we are only a couple days away from seeing our sunsets after 7:30. Tonight's at 6:34. By Sunday, 7:35. We'll have a look at that 7-day forecast next.
Ashley Home Stores on your side, wherever you go.
All right, let's take a look at your community calendar. Coming up tomorrow, we got a great event going on. The Burke County Sheriff's Office is hosting a cookout to raise money to help Texas after that wicked winter storm they had just about a month ago. It's $10 a plate, and the event will be from 11 to 2. It's at the Tractor Supply in Waynesboro, and all funds will go towards the American Red Cross in Houston. So some great food and a great event. Beautiful weekend up ahead for us. We're expecting highs generally in the 70s for most of us Saturday, back close to 80 by Sunday, and we are anticipating to stay dry through the weekend. Now, rain chances will be going up by early next week. Monday, not looking too rainy for us. It's really into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, potentially over an inch of rain.
All right, that'll do it for us here. First at 5, we've got Richard Rogers in the studio with me coming up for News 12 at 5:30. Stay with us.
Every morning all over the country, our kids